The interaction point our group focuses on is where Sunnypark Mall intersects with the larger site. The mall has a grand entrance that faces the lively Robert Sobukwe Street. This project will be presented by Lara Meisner-Roloff,
Bianca Ernst,
Leandro Dinkarnação,
Lesedi Dlamini,
and Michel Azar. The entrance square is predominantly a transient space, hosting crowds of people entering the mall or leaving to the bus station on the other side of Robert Sobukwe, or turning north onto Steve Biko towards the taxi rank. Though most shuffle quickly through the space, some use the square as a place of identity, whether it to be meeting a friend to begin the Robert Sobukwe shopping spree, ordering an Uber, or taking a break in the sun after a long day at the mall. Restaurants and bars associated with the mall overlook the square and the south surrounds of the mall. This includes the Spur, Nando's, and Ayoba Shizunyama. On the opposite side of Robert Sobukwe and Steve Biko are high-end fashion stores, chain food stores, and clubs, to list a few. The quality of infrastructure is ensured by the mall and therefore holds itself to a high regard.
The square of the mall currently provides a limited shaded seating area which can be classified as a weakness. There is an opportunity for the square space to facilitate events and to host a space for refuge. The infrastructure of the mall is well maintained and kept clean. We observe that there is not sufficient lighting at night, which can be classified as an opportunity. The square of the mall facilitates a high number of foot traffic and people sitting. Another weakness is the infrastructure of the mall that comes across as very rigid and is surrounded by a harsh environment. We feel this intersection has lots of potential, so here follows a few opportunities we identified. The square can host food markets and culture events. The basement dedicated for services can be better utilized. We would like the intersection to attract a variety of economic groups, to facilitate more seating and to provide services for the traders to make use from, as well as to soften the hard landscape. There is an opportunity to create a circular economy as well as the opportunity for advertising and sales. We would like the square to act as a linkage between the mall and Robert Sobukwe Street. The following threats were identified at our intersection. Too formal, which result in being alienated from the rest of the street, vehicular traffic along the mall and the body corporate of the mall. Through the SWOT analysis, we concluded that we would like to focus on the following aspects that were observed to be the stepping stones for our intervention. To have sufficient lighting during night, creating opportunities for future circular economy through providing basic services for the traders to make use of, and to increase the amount of trees and vegetation on site to soften the hard landscape.
The chosen definition of formality places vendors and service providers on a biaxial scale of fluidity. Vendor stores that have been previously considered as informal are defined as formal in this context, seeing that they are at a defined place, trading in a defined manner every time. Therefore, our intersection point at Sunnypark Mall has been rendered an inherently formal point of interest. Further, it is evident that a prevalent setback in the informal users of Robert Sobukwe Street is the lack of public access to services that could be made freely available by the mall. We do, however, feel that if given the chance, the two realms could be effectively intertwined at this point. In order for a significant value proposition to be made, the stark divide between the two realms needs to be addressed.
To make informed decisions on how we address this problem, we conducted a series of site observations. The observations took place over the length of approximately a month, and any assumptions made in the study are grounded in further desktop research on the relevant topics. At first, we assumed that the mall prevents all vendors from selling on the square, though mobile vendors do occasionally market themselves. This rule is enforced by the security along the mall's edge and on the square, who also ensure a safe environment for passerbys. The parking lot is filled on the first few levels, but rarely fills to the top.
Building on the data we have collected, our intervention and value proposition is also informed by the successes and failures of two precedent studies. This concise analysis of precedent studies show how previous projects, both international and local, strengthen the ability that malls and event spaces have on binding a community. Our first precedent is the High Line, located in New York City. The High Line used to be an old railway located above a portion of New York and was repurposed to accommodate social interactions, active movements through the park, and community events. The opportunities we identified that this precedent implemented are the following: The Highline has no specific program, allowing the users to create an interpersonal relationship with the space. This enables the design to create space and not objects. The Highline allows for passive refuge along its path, whilst simultaneously providing active passageway for pedestrians. The Highline shows the strength design has of reworking a space to include a more human-centered approach to a barren railway. The local precedent we studied is the Brooklyn Vintage Thrift Square. This fashion thrift event did not require any alterations to the existing space, apart from an arrangement to close off one parkade once a month. Its success lies in the marketability of the event, allowing more people to attend. Mall shoppers can stumble upon the thrift market when exiting the mall, and thrift shoppers can use the mall for refurbishments or groceries, allowing the two realms to mutually benefit from each other's clientele. This economic and social success is achieved through the provision of pedestrian-friendly, shaded, event-based market space at little to no cost. We do, however, feel that the pedestrian access from the street could be improved and that greenery could be added to make the space more enjoyable.
Which brings us to the overarching theme of our value proposition: strengthening Sunnypark Mall as an intersection point between the formal and informal realms through the provision of accessible seating and services. Our value proposition suggests that the governing body of the mall will benefit greatly from financially facilitating the proposed intervention, and that the proposed intervention will open up many doors in the future to smoothen the introduction of a circular economy.
Based on the systems and activities that are currently active on our sites, as well as the SWOT analysis we've already covered, it is evident that we need an intervention that will merge the formal and informal realms by supporting and rethinking the following aspects. The street edge needs to be softened in order to appear more appealing to the user. The addition and expansion of green areas will provide shade and an added sense of serenity to the space. The facilitation of movement and pause areas across the square and the adjacent streets needs to be improved. The hosting of events in the square area by the entrance of the mall can assist in drawing a wider range of people to the space. The addition and redesign of seating to accommodate more people for longer times. The provision of services to the public users of the square. The proposed intervention should include multi-level roof structures that softens the contrast between the informal operating on ground level and the formal towering over them. The mall and the vendors who use the square area can mutually benefit from each other's clientele. Vendors that use the square need to be able to advertise and sell their products in a safe and effective manner. The intervention must provide opportunities to introduce a circular economy into the system.
The proposed intervention would be along the following lines. The main movement routes on the square are accentuated and tightened. The spaces in between these routes are softened with greenery to allow for pause areas. The proposed pause areas are designed as multi-use modular structures that are installed by the mall. The mall can benefit from the use of these structures by utilizing them for event markets. The structural module acts as basic seating around a stormwater harvesting column. The column structure incorporates greenery and shading elements to add to a softer street edge. The seat of the bench is adjustable to preset heights, and the structure is equipped with a service outlet that will be further unpacked later. The adjustable platform can alternate between acting as a seating device, a tabletop, or an overhead structure for hanging display, allowing for innovation in program of use. Between a select few structures, additional adjustable platforms are installed to ease the selling of products. This proposed dynamic between the mall and the vendors forms an extension of the already present relationship between the formal and informal vendors down Robert Sobukwe Street. There is a symbiotic nature to the interactions between the two, with the mall representing the formal, facilitating the space making of the vendors representing the informal. These multi-use modular structures in the square are tied together visually with an overarching canopy. Further, individual structures as well as the principles for the softer street edges and the enhanced circulation routes are continued down the adjacent streets for the purpose of forming an identity and uniformity.
A proposed sustainable energy system that the mall can benefit from is a biogas system. This can generate cooking gas for restaurants and vendors. This gas can also generate electricity for the square and later on the mall. But is this feasible? To help us better answer this question, we consulted with a chemical engineer. We started by looking at the mall's total electricity usage, which is 83 kilowatts per hour. This includes HVAC systems. 1 cube of biomass, roughly 700 kilograms, can produce 63 kilograms of methane. To power the mall for an hour with a biogas generator requires 27 kilograms of methane. In summary, when the 1 cube of biomass processes into biogas, it can power the mall for 2 hours and 20 minutes. This could replace the mall's current cost to run generators, estimated to 170,000 rand. This is an ambitious feat and could be a sustainable long-term goal for stakeholders. Yet, the initial setup of this biogas system will be able to run plug points and lights on the square. In relation to the feasibility of cooking gas, we don't have to look far. Families in the South African Midlands collect organic waste for a month, which provides 3 hours of daily cooking gas for the next month. The mall has access to higher quantities of food waste through retail, which is estimated to be 160 kilograms daily. In conclusion, this collection of organic waste will comfortably provide cooking gas and electricity for the square. As more organic waste is collected and processed, the system could grow to replace fuel generators for load shedding, as well as provide cooking gas for all its restaurants. The byproducts of the system also include plant nutrients rich in CO2, allowing for any green interventions on the street to grow rapidly.
After establishing a system to incorporate the production of biogas on our site for public benefit, we wanted to test how the users of our site could aid in the embracement of a circular economy. A prevalent opportunity in the mall lies within the unsustainable waste system that is currently applicable in the formal fashion and textile industry. We further identified an opportunity to merge realms by using the services of the informal retailers in the area. These opportunities gave way to the proposal of a circular economy intervention at our site. Through research, we concluded that the world produces 92 million tons of textile waste every year. 10% of global greenhouse gas emissions are caused by clothing and footwear production. Just to put that statistics into perspective, that is more than all international flights and maritime shipping combined. Less than 1% of clothing is made into new garments. We had a look at the proposed circular economy cycle for the fashion industry and identified an opportunity for us to intervene with our proposal to ensure that the amount of textile waste from Sunnypark Mall gets reduced. We would like to initiate a proposal between the mall's clothing brands and the local tailors and cobblers, where they would have the opportunity to buy defect products from the brands at cost price. The tailors then have the opportunity to upcycle and customize the garments to increase the value of the items and to decrease the amount of textile waste. This system of upcycling and resale ensures that waste gets repurposed at its highest value.
The square facilitates the provision of services through its permanent biogas system and reinforces the upcycling of waste items through the hosting of supplementary thrift events in the square. The proposed product service system would be autopoietic in that an increases in users will result in an increase in service availability.
Our intervention transforms a currently unsuccessful, alienated space, Sunnypark Mall, to a space that fosters a product service system and a human-centered design approach. This enhances the quality, experience, and culture of space, transforming it into place. The product service system embodies 3 main factors, which are social, environmental, and economic. The social factors allow for intimate relationships between people, customers, and employees, regardless of the informality or formality. This is achieved through incorporating the culture of Robert Sobukwe Street into the square, allowing for people to reside comfortably within the space while simultaneously maintaining the active passageway for pedestrians to move to and from the mall. The environmental factors of our product service system are a mixture between an intuitive approach to circular economy and softening the hard and rigid edges of the square at Sunnypark Mall. The intuitive approach encompasses biogas and textile waste. Biogas is formulated from biowaste, which is transformed into electricity and gas that is encapsulated in the modular structures providing services to the square. The textile waste approach allows for a relationship to be created between tailors on Robert Sobukwe Street and the formal fashion stores within the mall, creating a thrift event in the square. This relationship decreases the carbon emissions released in the atmosphere and the textile waste sent back to the factories, which eventually end up on waste piles. Green walls on the modular structures soften the hard spaces of the square. The economic factor is the benefit from replacing the current linear economy of the mall with our proposed circular economy intervention through our product service system.
So, how does this value proposition benefit its different stakeholders and users? It is clear that every party can benefit from an increase in foot traffic at the square, an increase in pause areas, and the participation in the proposed biogas and fashion upcycling systems. Apart from these mutual benefits, there are also other benefits to the respective parties. The mall governing body can give their tenants the opportunity to occupy mobile stands during events. Local food and fashion traders are given a shaded place to sell their products and can set up next to the formal market stores that sell the same products for more, which will draw customers to the informal traders. The local franchises have the opportunity to occupy mobile stands during events and can give their customers prime view of the events. The pedestrian users are given an inviting outdoor area to relax in and have the opportunity to find what they need right at the entrance, so they might not even have to enter the mall at all. The mall also becomes a beacon that's easy to navigate to and from.
The mall funds the intervention at the square and the addition of a sustainable energy solution. As mentioned previously, the biogas system will be of a sizable initial cost, but will render itself affordable after some time has passed. The mall and the participants in the formal and informal realms mutually benefit from each other's clientele, and the activation of the intersection point through public service provisions and additional seating reinforces this. The newly established relationship between Sunnypark and formal-informal participants will not only facilitate stronger business networks and allow for natural circular economies to flourish, but will also continuously supplement the input for the biogas system, wholly bridging the economic, social, and environmental gap between the extremes of the formal and informal.